everybody. Welcome to Boulton from Boulton, the show where my brother Josh and I set each other up for lively hockey talk and banter. So, Josh, what's going on today?
Well, if you see me looking down to my side here, it's because I have them secretly watching the Montreal-Philadelphia game live on my phone. And you don't know what's going on. So if you see me moving, that's what's happening.
Why don't you just wear that thing around your neck and then have it on the whole time while we're doing the show? You could just sit there and half pay attention to what we're doing here and half pay attention to that.
I should have. There's only 30 seconds left in the second period, so I'll be all right here in a minute.
All right. And I see, as your T-shirt says, that surely not everybody was kung fu fighting.
Yes. No, not around here anyway.
Okay. Yeah, Josh is the king of these T-shirts. Oh, my God. I love those. All right. So let's get going on here, Josh. One thing I could say about the Bruins and Carolina series, I don't know what's happening or what happened in the game today. Did you say it's over?
It is over.
So as far as I know, it's 3-1 for the Bruins, and that was all without Pastrnak. So I say no pasta, no problem. And it also seems that, but although you said he played today, right?
He did play today. Yes.
Okay, he played today. Well, that's cool. Good for them. And it's also no Tuukka, no problem. So first of all, what's up with the Tuukka situation? He went. I know you said some colorful comment on your podcast, Tough Call, about it. What do you make of the Tuukka thing in general? We'll just do it really briefly, but I do want to make a quick comment on it.
Well, just lay off him. Just get off his back. He has his reasons. He doesn't owe anybody an explanation. But it's not that so much. It's the speculation when players don't give a statement. Everything just becomes political or just a huge issue, and they need to cancel everybody. Like, people read into it when there's nothing there. They can't accept that maybe we just don't know the story and we'll just wait and see what comes out. People aren't satisfied with that. They need to either invent one or poke at one and just put it out there and see what people think. And it's like, just let it be sometimes.
Let it be. John Lennon knew something. So when I saw the thing that cemented it for me, as far as like, we don't know what's going on, let's leave it. And the only thing that matters to me is the Bruins statement themselves. They're like, we're down. We support Tuukka. It wasn't like they were all being, well, whatever he wants to do, but we're like not sure. They were just like, we totally support what he's doing. So that indicates to me that they know what's going on. And people are all upset, like, what about the team and all of the team is supporting him. That's end of story as far as I'm concerned. Does that mean anything?
Well, for all these people out there that are saying these things, guess what? If you were supposed to know, if you were that important to these people, they would have let you know. They would have given you a personal call. They would have sent you a note. They would have somehow found a way to let you know. So if you don't know, you probably don't need to at this point. You can wait.
I'll take that. So anyway, Halak comes in, and people probably think, okay, well, this is a little tough. Tuukka he was a Vezina candidate, isn't he? Tuukka?
Probably. I don't know.
Again, we got all the latest stats and analysis on this show for everybody. But Tuukka's their number one for sure. He's the guy they expect to ride to the cup if they were going to go. Not Halak, though they did split. They split most of the time. But as far as the cup, it's Tuukka's the man. But Halak comes in, and he's done it, right? What do you make of Halak's performance so far?
He's doing great, and like that comeback from the team there on game 4, was it? Mm-hmm. When they were down 2-0 and they came back to win 4-2. Like,
yes, that was the last game.
That was a shocking, it wasn't just a shocking comeback. The whole environment of that game was just absolutely bananas. It was like 2 different games. There was the first 2 periods, and then there was the third period. And for a goalie to be able to maintain their focus through that time, especially in the third period, when you go from being under a lot of pressure and knowing that if you give up that one more goal, you're in real trouble, to you haven't seen rubber in 18 and a half minutes, and then all of a sudden you got to hold down the fort at the end. It's like, how do you go from being so in the zone and on fire to being like Ken Dryden and leaning on your stick watching the game, and then all of a sudden be right back in the thick of things there in the last couple of minutes? It was I don't know how they do that, and that's really impressive. And to be able to hold it down like that, that's fantastic.
Well, he's getting it done. You mentioned like the mood of the game and all that. I find there are a lot of weird moods in these games. There's a lot of things that are just like we mentioned it since the start of the show. We've been trying to put our finger on different things as we went along. I don't know. There's just a different mood with this thing without all the fans in it. There's like a different way that people can make comebacks. There's a different way that people are, the game can run away on somebody, or it can just turn around because they just can't grab onto momentum without the emotion coming with it. I don't know what's happening. But the thing does look kind of weird. It's still enjoyable, but it all just kind of looks weird. Are you feeling anything?
There's obviously some people that do thrive off the crowd, and there's times where you really need the crowd. You're just looking for some sort of a pick-me-up. And I remember when we played, some of our favorite shifts were like when you had a really good shift, but you didn't score. It was almost more fun when you didn't score, but you held them in their zone for like a minute and a half and had all these scoring chances, and people were just really appreciative of it. And they're just like, wow, that was a great shift. And they'd be cheering so hard, even though you didn't really accomplish anything other than having a great shift.
I recall that specifically, having a shift where we just cycled for like a minute and a half and had them in, and we come off and people going crazy, screaming and shoving, and we're feeling like, oh, we score or something. This is awesome, right? Going off, but that's what people appreciate, right? It's certainly knowledgeable hockey fans of Truro do, and knowledgeable hockey fans around, they do appreciate that kind of stuff. They appreciate the effort of those kind of things and applaud all that stuff. And it does give you a pump up. You can get it from the bench now if you had a shift like that, and it can lift your team a bit and say, hey, we've got the pressure on, let's go. But sometimes you want to grab onto that emotion and inject it.
Let this be a lesson to crowds out there. When you do get back in the rinks, I've always thought fans tend to boo at the moments when a team needs them to cheer the most. Like when they're having a really rough time and can't get things going, the last thing they need is to hear the boos and have their jerseys thrown on the ice and stuff like that. Just for whatever reason, just give them the old Rudy chant, Rudy, and just give it to them. Like, maybe try that once in a while. It's so funny because in football, like the fans are so important to the game, and it's like you cheer. You're supposed to not cheer at all when your team has the ball because you want them to be able to hear all their own calls and get their own signals and stuff. And you're supposed to make the most noise and cheer loudly when the other team has their chance at offense, because then they can't hear, they can't communicate with each other. So it's almost like it has nothing to do with the emotion. It's a tactic, right? So you do cheer and you get up once your team does something, but while they're making their plays, shut up. And
it's like golf.
Right. So, but in hockey, like you should be using those cheers to uplift your team when they need it the most. So anybody can just cheer when things are going well, and you should. They deserve that. But I don't think you should automatically turn on a team, because look what's going on now when there's no fans and they're just like on the bench going, all right, let's just do this. And there's been a lot of weird comebacks. There's been a lot of lead changes. It's just been a crazy time, and the players are obviously just doing it. And we talked about how there wasn't really that emotion after they score goals, but like when the Leafs came back against Columbus that time, when they tied the game, they were like jumping into the glass and hugging each other. And it wasn't for anybody. It was for them, right? And you see that now more and more. The games are getting a lot more intense. They're obviously a lot more meaningful. And there's a lot
I think it's because they're the playoffs now, aren't they?
So, right. It's the playoffs now. It wasn't even the playoffs before. That's right. Now that it's the playoffs, the players are just doing it and providing their own emotion. Now, some people need the crowd, like we said, but there's just a super weird feel where literally anything is possible right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I imagine a team that's, maybe they go on the power play and they have like 2 failed entries, right? Or they can't keep, you know what I mean? Like they're trying to get it, and then they go back again and people go, boo. And it's like, why don't you be more like, if you're a good power play, because there's still a minute left, let's just keep going now, get the next one. Like it didn't work a couple times. Now you just regroup, set it a good one. But instead what you do is you make them panic, and then they start rushing it again, and then they fail a third time to get an entry. It's like, don't put that pressure on them. Act cool, like they're supposed to be. And like, okay, next one up. Let's reset, because that minute's gone. Let's not worry about it. Let's go ahead for the final minute. Let's make something happen here. Encourage that way. But and that what I would say is the non-knowledgeable hockey fan, or the never won anything in their life hockey fan who doesn't know how to win, because it not conducive to winning. When you start to get down on people for, it has to be something consistently, a lack of effort or attention to something, right? They're really not picking up over time, and then you can start to call people out. But I never call people out for mistakes during a game, and start booing my teammates. Is what's wrong with you? Like is it a consistent character thing that you're not paying attention to something that we've said over and over, or an effort issue? That's different.
There's a big problem with some power plays here. Like Philadelphia's power play is struggling a lot. Montreal's was struggling a lot. So that's an interesting series right there. You had Pittsburgh. Their power play was horrible. All these teams. And the joke is that it's because there's no one in the stands yelling at them to shoot. They don't have that. So they don't know what to do. Because everybody in the world, that's all they want to do. And a fan is sitting there going, shoot the puck. You can just, if you want to be a hero and get people to jump on board with it, just yell shoot, and then everyone will go, yeah, shoot. And it's not necessarily the best option all the time.
What is the soccer moms on the sidelines telling it, pass the ball? That's their advice all the time. Sorry, soccer moms, we appreciate it, but just that's their coaching. Pass it, right? And then you skip on the power play. They say boo, they start booing when they pass around too much and they don't shoot.
I wish I could remember the skit where, I don't know if it was a TV commercial or what, but I remember seeing it on TV, and it was it was either during the players, some sort of strike was going on, and it was when people thought that they could play the game, so there was a spoof. What if regular people were just in NHL games all of a sudden, and then a guy was being pinned down on the ice, being held down by his opponent, and he was like, boy, I wish I was on my couch right now so I could yell at the TV and tell myself what to do.
There it is. Yeah. Anyway, well, there you go. What did they call those? Armchair coaches or something? You got all that stuff. So whatever you call it, armchair fans. I don't even know what I'm talking about. So anyway, but I get it all. Yeah, guys, just support your team. Support them in the tough times. Don't make them panic while they're on the power play. So the next thing is something we had thought about talking about before, but it just came up to me, and it's obvious now that it's an issue to talk about. I heard on the Calgary game, you saw Johnny Gaudreau scored, and then they start playing Johnny Be Good, right, when he's there. And I think, was it an away game again? Remember I was talking about away teams getting stuff, but I'm not sure.
I don't know anymore.
But he's playing Johnny Be Good, and I was like, oh my God, they're playing. He has his own song. And then Sam Bennett scored, and then it was all of a sudden Benny, I don't know how to sing that song, but it was Benny. They were playing it.
Benny and the Jets?
I don't know. Isn't that a group? It was a song that say Benny in it.
Benny and the Jets is a song by Elton John.
Okay, and I've never seen Field of Dreams either. Okay, sorry. So, yes, I think it's that.
He should play for Winnipeg. Seriously. Anyway.
Benny and the Jets.
But anyway, that's what they played for him. They
played that. So they had two of those, and I think, and by the way, another point for Lucic on Sam Bennett goal. But he got 2 goals that game.
Setting playoff records all over the place, Lucic.
I know, but anyway, he's playing well.
For him.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So about personal goal songs in general, what do you think about the idea of personal goal songs in regular season, playoffs, whatever, but for teams in general in hockey? I never heard much about this until recently, and then. It's a thing.
I 100% am on board with personal goal songs. I think every player should do it. And I know teams were doing this earlier in the year was something they came up with actually. But I see all the time people are saying, "Oh, can you believe his goal song is this?" You know what? When I'm watching the games on TV, I never hear them. I would not know that they existed but for people talking about them on social media. So it doesn't really affect how I enjoy the goals. I don't hear them. But I'm all for the idea. I love it, and I spend I'm curious to know which player will have what song, and it's a great way for players to come out of their shell and show their personality without having to do anything too embarrassing, or whatever. It's just a good way for a player to have some flavor without having some. I don't like some of the dumb goal celebrations and things like that, but.
Yeah, it's they're trying.
By dumb goal celebrations, I don't mean the personal ones, Kuznetsov has his Birdman and all that. I like that. Some people have the things they do, but I mean, in football when they'd have the coordinated touchdown celebrations and all that. I don't mind it in football because the personality of the players and the way you score your touchdowns and things like that, it just seems to sort of fit with the flow of the game. I kind of like that. But in hockey, it would just be too. I think it'd just be too much. too much too soon for players that are so used to being very robotic and not really that personal. I like to see the kind of clothes they wear now coming to the rink and that sort of thing. They're starting to come out of their shell a little bit. And then these songs are just a really nice way to complement that, and you can get to know a player. Kind of fun.
And there's a lot more media these days too, where they're getting to be on shows and interviews, and even their own teams have their own little media where they, on Detroit they have Coffee with Carly, and she, the Detroit girl like interviews them and stuff. And you get all kinds of that stuff, and that's all great. I wouldn't have even known they had personal goal songs during the regular season until you told me. So I also do not hear them. I just happened to hear it during that game. It was the first time, and I went, oh, it's the first. So I thought I was the first thing and I was going to bring it to you, right? But you're like, yeah, they've been playing them all year. But apparently, you said. So
yeah, apparently. But that's great. Like, that's fantastic. Now, it's funny you mentioned about the home game. I think the Vegas Golden Knights put out, oh, by the way, I have a joke for you. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Not the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh.
Anyway, Vegas put out a tweet that said, we finally got our first series win on home ice. And
oh,
no.
Get
to be at home to do it. Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny.
Right. There isn't much on ice. Yeah, everybody, that's something that is on, like, I don't know about all the results of today's games, but I can say as far as that, it's Dear John, Chicago's gone. Yeah, after they came and beat your oil out and impressively, and you thought, man, they're back. They're like doing their playoff thing. They were not. But anyway.
They did all right, but they just, whatever.
I know.
But, okay, now you talk about Johnny Gaudreau and his songs, or Johnny Gaudreau, or however you say it, Johnny Hockey. And I want to talk about this Johnny Hockey, because I just, I kind of like the name Johnny Hockey and all that.
I love it, yeah.
But how did he get that? Like, when you look at his career, he's just Johnny, and he plays hockey, but it's not like he's Mr. October or something. It's not like he's like Mr. Hockey, like Gordie Howe. He's a guy who's never made it out of the first round or the second round. Like, what's he even done? How is he like Johnny Hockey?
It's marketing. That's branding. He just jumped on it and took it. I don't know how he got it. I don't know how it developed. Somebody might know that story, but it is kind of a little interesting if you think, oh, he must be like the best player in the league or something. Is it? What's going on? If you're looking in, it's like, no, it's just he's a good player. So I don't know.
Good.
So I want to mention.
You see some of these other guys are getting, like, people are like blow up. Connor McDavid must be ready to quit the Oilers because they haven't done anything in his era, and Austin Matthews is not as good as he is because he can't get anything done. All the things they say about that, and then Johnny Hockey's just sort of quietly living in Calgary and not doing a whole lot either way. He's playing pretty good, but not getting much out of it, and it's like he's just Johnny Hockey, but he's Johnny Hockey. Like, it just seems funny to me.
Yeah, pretty good name. I want to say a bit on the personal goal songs now. So once I thought about it, I was definitely also thinking, yeah, I'm down with personal goal songs. Sounds great. Like, why not? Right? It's a fun thing for the fans. And you said you might not hear it on TV, but the fans in the place totally hear it. Right. And and especially you're at your home games and people get used to it and they're looking forward to it. So it's a real thing for everybody to enjoy and pump everybody up. A place where I do have personal experience with it is the Korean baseball league, the Korean league, the KBO league. Back in 2004, oh my God. Anyway, 2004, I used to live in Daejeon, a city south of here, and the Hanwha Eagles. Ryu Hyun-jin, who plays for the Blue Jays now, he used to play for these guys, the Hanwha Eagles. Yeah. Anyway, wow. So I used to go. There was this guy Kim Tae-gyun. He was awesome. He was a big home run guy. And he went and played in the Japanese league, which at the time was stronger. And then he came back again as an older guy. But at that time, he was the main guy. And we didn't really know him very well. This is early on when we knew that he was a big player for us. So we used to go to a lot of the games. It was awesome back in the day. Way back, especially in the smaller city, it was $5 for a ticket to get in there. And it's about 5,000 fans. Today, you can go to a bigger city. One of the bigger stadiums, you probably get like 10,000 and more fans at a baseball game. But this is like that kind of stadium, 5,000, $5 ticket. You can buy cans of beer for $3. Just buy cans right at the thing, right? $3. It was really like cheap and awesome to go. And it was exciting, right? So anyway, we knew this guy and they all had their own songs when they come up to bat, which is what a lot of the MLB does anyway. They have them. And they all did. His was Jump by Van Halen. Right. So we didn't know his name at the time. It was just Korean players to us. And we nicknamed him Van Halen. So we were always like looking for it. Right. And I remember there's one time late in the game, he hadn't been in yet, and he comes in as a pinch sometimes. And we were just like, we need a big hit. And we were like, we need Van Halen. Where's Van Halen? We were just getting, as the foreign fans there, we were like, just getting a little bit rowdy, and we were kind of like going, Van Halen. We were trying to call for Van Halen. We wanted it. And I swear, all of a sudden, it goes, do, 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 do. And we were just like, ah! And not just us, everybody started cheering because they knew it was like Rick Vaughn coming out to Wild Thing, and the crowd just erupts, and everybody jumped up, and we were screaming, Van Halen, and we were high-fiving people, right? Like Koreans we didn't know. And then he delivered. He got a home run. Like he got his hit in RBI that we needed, right? He delivered. But anyway, that's the later part. But the part that was so exciting was the moment when he came out and the song just came on. Like it's a little cheesy, but a little dramatic, and it was just perfectly awesome. Like genuine excitement and emotion. So I feel like you get some personalized goal songs and stuff like that. It's not quite the same where they announce a guy, but it still gives you something awesome. So right away, I just thought of that story when I heard this. And I think in general, I want to see everybody get their goal songs going. By the way, do you have a goal song that you would have in mind if you were?
No, I remember when back in high school, when we had fake wrestling matches, and we would pick a song to come out to. I remember being at my friend Chris Hunter's house. I don't know if you listen to this or not, but anyway, we were there. And to throw him off, he had like some super pump up, like regular, like rocking song. And to rattle him off and try and throw him off so that I could get him confused so I could beat him in the match, I put Hakuna Matata off the Lion King soundtrack. And so he was like, what is this? And then he started giggling. And when he was laughing, I took him down and won the match. So I don't know.
Lost his pump up.
I might throw a wrinkle into it like that, something like that.
Right. Be comic for the fans, right? And you can change it too every once in a while and have a new goal song. Yeah.
And I don't
have an answer for that.
I don't think I would tell the players like on my team. I'd say, well, you just have to set me up and let me score, and then you'll see what it is.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, I'd be looking for it. I'd be like, okay, this is great. Today, Josh said he got a new one, and then if you'd score, and then I'd be waiting for it, and then we'd be on the bench laughing and stuff. That's great fun. Why not? So moving on, you had something in your on your podcast. You talked about the idea of power plays extending or not cutting in periods. You tell me about that.
Yes. It drives me crazy when you earn a 2-minute power play, and there's about 30 seconds left in a period or 45 seconds left in a period, and you just get set up and you're all gearing to go, and then the period ends, and then you just go to the room, and then when you come back, you only have an abbreviated power play again. You never get your full 2 minutes. You can't get into a flow. You can't take advantage of it. Like, you have 2 minutes for a reason. You don't need to score right on your first shot. So you take your time, you set it up, you wait for your opponent to break down. But if what you're only getting is basically 2 1-minute power plays, or a 50-second power play in a minute and 10 seconds. You don't have the time to break your opponent down, to get your zone entry, because most teams now like to skate 150 feet up the ice and then pass it back 80 feet and then re-skate it. Like, that takes some time. Like,
I know.
So it's just not real. It would be a whole lot better if that power play could go for the full 2 minutes for me. So what I'd like to see is, if you take a penalty in the last 2 minutes of a period, doesn't matter what period it is, that instead of having the clock stop at the 20-minute mark, it stops whenever your power play is over. The period would extend until your 2 minutes is up, and then the horn would blow. That way you get your full 2 minutes without having it broken up.
So I get this idea, like when it's, say, 25 seconds or something like that, you get a face-off in their end, and then you lose the draw and they dump it down. You got to come back all the way up. And then you can't really do anything. You're going to get in, get a shot, maybe take a poor shot from way out or something. You're not really going to set up and do what you want to do. So the team basically gets 30 seconds out, and they've got to kill off a 1.5-minute power play now or something. I wonder what happens though if you're going to extend it. Then what happens if like the other team gets a penalty in the middle of it, and then they're going to get on their power play? And it could just end up going on for too long. Would you just say go for it anyway, get a scrape and keep it going, or what?
Well, I haven't thought about it, but if it goes to 4-on-4, like I haven't really thought about those
That's
details.
a great idea. But yeah.
I mean, if you take a penalty on your power play and it goes to 4-on-4, then there's no point in extending the period because it's 4-on-4. You're not really damaging anyone's power play, and then they would get their power play regularly at the start of the next period. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or like, I haven't thought about what if you go to 5-on-3. Well, I mean, if there's a stoppage in play already, then your power play is already stopped. Like as far as a penalty goes.
Yeah.
Or as far as, so I mean, that's fine. And then then the tricky part becomes in the third period. Like the game's got to end sometime. So my idea for the third period was that the other thing that I don't like is coaches used to say to us all the time, there's like 10 seconds left and you're up by a goal and it looks like they're going to get a good shot on that. Haul the guy down.
Hog time.
Just wrap them up. What are they going to get? A 5-second power play? So I'm thinking to prevent players from doing that, if your team is ahead and you take a penalty against the team that's trying to tie it up, then the period extends. But if you're the team trying to tie it up and you take a penalty, then the game just ends when it should end.
Right. I like that a lot. And now I'd have to see more and discuss it with somebody who has some counters, and there might be some good reasons why this is not a good idea. But at the moment, I can't see them. I think that right away, it's like it is like basically unfair. People can just do anything, and then they just set up have a face-off, and you get like you could had a guaranteed goal, say, and instead now you get a 10-second 6 against 4 or something if you pull it, 5 against 4, and you could pull the goalie if it's even less. Like, it's just brutal, right? Especially if it's a few seconds you pull the goalie. So you don't really get anything for it, but you win everything by stopping the guy from scoring. But and you actually should, if a guy's going to score the tying goal, you should actually take a penalty sometimes too. But you take a penalty just like in a regular game. You have to take on the 2-minute power play and see if you can defeat them. But yeah, I mean,
still be able to earn the 2-minute power play.
Yeah.
The only counter I've heard so far is that the referees might put the whistle away because they don't want to be the guy to call a penalty and extend the game. But to me, they already put the whistle away in that. You see guys haul people down all the time, and they're just like, whatever, just a 50-50 battle. And then you always see the guy cross-checking in front of the net, and he's laying on the ice, and the clock and the horn sounds, and the puck has gone by, and then he's just looking at the ref like, really? But I don't know why they put the whistle away any more than they already do. It's not like they're giving the team an automatic goal or something. They're just giving them a penalty.
Maybe it's just not worth the bother. It's like there's 5 seconds left. I got to go call a penalty, put the guy in the box, do a whole setup, and then the game's over anyway. Like maybe it's something like that.
Right.
But if I'm the guy on the ice looking up, going, really? Like you didn't get a power play for that? I mean, with 5 seconds left, again, there's what am I complaining about? Like I'm going, he should get a penalty, but for what? What justice will I get? I won't get any, right? But if with your idea, you can get justice. So obviously in the middle of a game, if that's happening, I'm on the ice going, are you kidding me? Like we should, this is injustice. We should have a power play right now. But at the end of the game, you wouldn't get that anyway. But I like the idea of giving it to people and saying, look, man, you can't just take a penalty for nothing, right? And just, to get a freebie, because it is so dumb to not hog tie a person as the rules are now. So I don't know. I don't know how we can make this gain traction, but I like it. I like the sound of it. Now, this leads us into another issue you brought up, which I thought was very interesting. It's the question of, would you rather have a power play or a penalty shot? We see quite a few penalty shots, have we? Not in this playoffs, or in general?
We saw the 2 in one game. I don't know how many have been total.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just taking that and, projecting, extrapolating and thinking it's happening all the time. But I feel like there's penalty shots. So where are you at on this thing anyway, the power play or the penalty shot? What is better for a team? If you're the coach, you're a player. What do you want?
God. Well, that's just it. Like at the end of the game, I mean, I've seen players push the net off on purpose, and everyone's like, oh, that's a penalty shot. Give them the penalty shot because there's only 5 seconds left. And it's like, that's our only chance to tie it up. So give them the penalty shot. But really, if I'm in the middle of the game and I get hauled down on a breakaway, I don't want a penalty shot. That's one shot and you're done. And you bobble the puck once, it's over. you can make some pretty good moves, but the goalies are also pretty darn good too. Like, it's a 50-50 shot at best.
So, well, no, it's worse than that.
It's got to be worse than that. What are the
chances? The best penalty shootout, like Datsuk and Nielsen and these guys, they're like 40% career. They're like the best guys ever.
That's true. That's a very good angle to take on this. I think having a full 2 minutes with your teammates to move the puck around and set each other up has got to be better than one crack and a breakaway.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I'm a little bit on the other side because I thought about it, and my first instinct is to think about a power play because you do get to, you get to work it around. But I just thought on numbers, if I say 40%, that's a good person. So a poor penalty shot taker is 30. I don't know what they are, but like the best power play in the league, it's going to be 30% if you're the best power play in the league. So the percentages are almost the same or better. But I also want to add that. Also, there's not the chance of getting scored on. You don't get that risk as well. So people can get shorties against you in a momentum change. Obviously, a goaltender save can be a momentum change too in a penalty shot. But I just think there's like all reward. It happens in a moment, especially if you're okay. So here's another way I looked at it. By the way, it depends on a lot of factors. Very circumstantial. Who's the guy, right? If it's like, your worst, like your sixth D gets hauled out he somehow found himself out of the box and got a breakaway, and he gets a penalty shot, right? I'd be like, if we have an option, can I take the power play? Right? I don't want that guy shooting, right? But if it's like a good penalty shooter, definitely. So that it depends on who. The other one is what time of game is it, right? If we're down by 2 goals and it's late, I want to have a penalty shot. So then we have a lot more time. So we have a big chance. Like it's almost like you have to take the chance. Like if missing, power play, you probably have a better chance, but then you're going to burn down a lot of clock. So late in the game, I'm saying penalty shot. So again, it's not always clear to me, penalty shot's better or power play's better. Who's shooting? What's the time of the game and all that stuff. But overall, I also think as far as percentages though, just generally, I think the shootout, they have not good percentages, but neither does the power play. The top, like I said, top operating power play is 30. So, I mean, I'll take a shot, all other things being equal. And then other things being equal, I may definitely not want a shot, it's like,
I can see late, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, late, you want your shot. Give yourself a chance. I guess, if you're down by 2, you'd want that extra chance. So I get that. That's all good. But in general, I still feel like a power play would serve a team better. Because, I mean, for all we know, it's a situation where you want to kill 2 minutes on the clock, too. Like maybe, like in basketball, to make sure the clock doesn't stop, they actually take a penalty on purpose and then they get free throws. And I think that's kind of ridiculous. Like you're rewarded. I know the other team gets an easier shot because there's no goalie and all that, but still, like, I don't know. I think it would be nice for a team who took a penalty to just have the shot missed. Now maybe if they award a penalty shot, maybe a team could get the choice. Do we want our penalty shot or do we get the power play? I don't know.
Well, that's crazy. We talked about all the circumstances. I love it sounds very interesting to me. We say, so what do you want, coach? It's late in the game. Okay, we want to take the penalty shot. It's it's Datsuk shooting. Okay, we'll take the penalty shot. We don't need our power play to go out there. It's struggling these days. Even you could take that on top, right? The penalty play in general is struggling, so we'll take the penalty shot. Like it's again, this guy, we won't take a penalty shot because it's that guy shooting, and make him feel bad. And, again, the other thing is too, if you have a little bit of fear of the other team's really good, scores a lot of shorthanded goals, you don't want them to come back on you. So you're just like, we'll just take the non-risk and basically all reward, no risk, like of a momentum shift. So I'm not going to take it. So there's lots of reasons you go back and forth, I would say, both ways. And it really would depend on a lot of things at the time. And so the question, I guess, would just be more often than not, what would you want? You're probably saying power play. I don't know, maybe more often than not penalty shot for me, but I'm not even sure, to be honest. So it's a fun question. And I wonder, maybe I'll put it out to everybody else. I would really love if people want to comment on this. Get in the comments section, guys, and tell us, what do you think about it? Would you rather have a penalty shot or a power play? Because, I'd love to hear some more arguments. He brought this up to me. This is the first we've discussed it. So it's kind of all fresh for us. Anyway, that's fun. That's really fun. Well, Josh, we had a lot going on so far. Just want a few things to put out to you, things that I've been seeing and just making notes of when they occur to me. One thing is I watch a lot of these highlights packages like on YouTube and stuff because there's so many games. I'm very busy here. Everybody's busy, but I'm not watching all the games, but I am definitely making sure I watch all highlights at least. So I'm watching plenty of these YouTube highlights, and I always find it weird. They got these 5-minute packages, the 9-minute packages or whatever. And whenever there's a game that goes in overtime, they always show the ticking seconds of the third period as a highlight. Like, why are they going to see that every time? It's like they go ahead and they tie up and then they show the last, they skates behind the net and we're going overtime. And then and they go to the, why is that a highlight?
That had drama, maybe? I don't know. Maybe so that you're clear when the next one, if you don't happen to check what period it is, maybe, I don't know. Maybe.
I guess. But they do come out, they go like third period and then go and then OT. Like, it's pretty obvious, right? But they should always have that. Anyway, there's nothing really to discuss here. I just put it out there and I'm just going, it's almost like a what is going on? So anybody else see that? Anybody else have an answer for me? Somebody help me out. I don't get it. Stop showing me that the ticking seconds. I know it's going to OT. Just show OT and I'm going to see what's going on. All right. The other one, I saw like there was that Barzal OT goal and some other ones I've seen, right? He kind of came around, he pulled it across and then tucked it in, right? Mm-hmm. I know sometimes when the guy's alone, it's really unsure whether he's going to put it up over your shoulder or bring it across. But especially when there's a defender there, he's doing that thing and holding, and then he's going across. Why are these goalies not putting their paddle down and blocking that? What is going on? I almost felt like I saw what he's doing the whole way. How are they getting to pull it across? Kuznetsov pull. Well, it got knocked in. But there's a bunch of them where they pull it across and tuck it around the guy, and it's like, just put your stick out. You stop him. Marc-Andre got his pad out and kicked that one where the guy came across. He did it with his leg. Yeah. And that was great. I just feel like there's nowhere for the guy to go. There's no way because the guy's here. He can't come across and then put it up over you. He has to go across and try to make that play, right? So it just seems like you guys are maybe I'm missing something and I don't know. Like because it's like it seems like because they're pro goalies. What's going on here? It
felt like you just knew what he was going to do on that particular one in general. I was like, did he? And the angle they had on the TV, you couldn't quite see whether it went in or not. And it was like, he didn't even pull it. It's not like he pulled it all the way across. Like, sometimes it's just that they have a long reach and the goalie can't possibly get their leg over in time. And there's like this much space between the post and the foot. That was like, he went like to the middle of the net and then put it in. It wasn't like he was in the corner. Like, he went fast with his hands, sure. But, I mean, my leg span as a goalie is long enough to get over there. And like you said, why don't you cut him off at the pass anyway? Stick your stick out.
That's more my thing. Like getting over is one thing. The guy, you should make the guy go all the way around and then tuck it around your leg sticking out, right? But I'm talking more about how does he even get it across? Like, how is he coming across with it? Like, unless he does a big toe drag way around your thing and beat you, that's what you should do. But they just kind of go stick way out in front of them, pull it across, and then put the stick over and beat it on the other side and knock it in. It's like, stick down.
You don't see a lot of poke checks in general.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
Happen that much. And you'd think, especially like you said, with the defenseman there stopping him from coming out too far, he's like right in your range of your stick and he can't go anywhere or he's going to be hit by the defenseman. So stick your stick out. I mean, you might trip him, but what's worse?
But not if you get pucked, though. If you just block the puck, it's going to be fine, right? That's not a trip, right? So... Yeah, I just blow my mind. I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm missing. As I said, you speak of poke checks. I guess there was a brilliant poke check though. Remember Reimer, his great poke check he came out?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. The guy walked right around it. That was brutal. James, what are you doing, man? You think you're Marc-Andre Fleury? Stay in your net. Good God. Anyway.
Jacob Fancy, if you watch this, I don't know. He's a goalie coach, Foundation's goaltending. Jacob Fancy, if you watch this, maybe you could explain to us why goalies don't stick their stick out and stop the player from cutting across the crease like that.
Please, I really much appreciate that. And being serious again, just to preempt, I understand the idea that you want to be tucking tight and protecting his neck because they could come and then fake it and put it up. But I'm talking about when there's a guy on them and there's no way they can make that play. They have to pull across. Like that Barzal one was a very great, clear example for me. Tell me on the Matt Barzal why I forget who the goalie was now, but didn't put his paddle down. But anyway.
Craig Hillier, are you out there to tell us? Landon Crow. these goalies that I know. Get on there.
Hillbilly, help
Jacob
us out.
Perry, let me know.
Yes. Give it to us, goalies. Or, or where are we getting free ones going across? I like it. I'll take it. But all right. I wanted to mention one more thing about the Nathan MacKinnon fight. Well, the quick little altercation there with Crouse.
Yeah.
Well, you tell me. It looked like you have something to say on it. Go ahead.
Well, you know me. I want to say something about the cross check before.
Yes.
Whatever. Like,
it
that
was brutal.
So anyway, Nate ragdolled the guy. And,
that's the term that occurred to me. And I wanted to mention it because I just thought it's so funny because it reminded me of Crosby ragdolling Niskanen back in the day. That's how, he just took Niskanen and just didn't let him get up. He just threw him around and he would try to get up, punch him, and then he would throw him on the ground again. That's what Nate did. He just took him and whipped him around. And I was like, that's how we do in Cole Harbor, guys. They don't get in a fight, man. We'll just throw you around. We don't want to, get punched or throw any punches. I don't know. I guess maybe that's Nova Scotia style on in general. I don't know. But it was very clear. I just felt that's the same. I guess it's a good, safe thing because you don't have to throw as many punches and risk getting hurt. I mean, everybody is very scared when your top players are fighting because they can break their hand, they can get hurt themselves by getting punched, but also just even if they win, they can get hurt. So it's a kind of safe way to kind of show a guy, I've got you, but without actually having to pound on him. Anyway, Nate was an animal. It was awesome.
I don't know why that's what all you want to say to a guy. Like, it happens to me a lot in pickup, and you don't fight in pickup, I know, but some people do. Like, there's a lot of fights in that. But people are getting chippy, and you just sort of grab a guy, and all you want to do is warn him. I don't want to punch a guy. I don't really care that much. I just want to make sure that he's not going to do it to me again. Now, I know in the NHL it's a little bit different, and you might do it, but anything can happen. You can get an injury, or, as we all know, maybe for some reason another team will use that as motivation. Have fights change the momentum of the game like that. So basically, he's just saying, I could own you right now, but I'm not even going to bother because you're not even worth it. And I'm just going to carry on and kick your ass in the series. And that's just almost as worse. It's almost more embarrassing than if he'd have punched him.
Yeah. And exactly. And it is another thing you don't want your guys fighting. I mentioned about getting hurt. The other one is they go off for 5 minutes. You don't want your best player sitting in the box for 5 minutes. So you don't really want these guys fighting, but it is true. You play so many games, so many situations. Eventually at some point you got to, snap for a second or something just has to be right there. And it somehow turns into a fight. And then anyway, I just liked seeing Nate throw the guy around. It was just funny. It's like, good try, boys. Good luck with that. These guys are savages. These, Sid and Nate trained like crazy and they got legs like that. I don't know, man. Beasts. It was awesome. All right. Well, that's all we've got for today. So I hope everybody's team's doing well. There's a lot of teams on the brink. Josh knows most of the results from today so far. I'm going to go find out. Yes. We'll see how it all turned out. Good luck to your teams. Keep enjoying all your hockey. Please let us know about some of the things we talked about today. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. And we'll see you guys next time.